So hello everyone and welcome to another social science coffee break. I'm Stacey Allen and I'm joined today by my wonderful colleague at Learn, Paul Rombo, and we will be sharing one elementary and one secondary resource to support you in building your students' history and geography knowledge alongside of their digital competency. So for today's activity, I created a review game, or I am creating a review game, I will say, about New France and the changes that occurred between 1645 and 1745. So this is an activity for elementary cycle 2 students. It's a gamified kind of Jeopardy style game that's interactive that you could display on a classroom whiteboard to kind of review the students' competency to knowledge based on the progression of learning. And I just like the idea of having something interactive because I find games are such an engaging way for students to show and kind of for you as an educator to check in with their understanding about some of those concepts and facts that are covered in the program. So this was a Notebook LM session, and I did use Notebook LM, but I also exported what I created in Notebook LM into Canva AI. So I'll walk you through a bit of my process. Firstly, the first thing I did was I logged into Notebook LM, right? Maybe I will open up a tab here. Okay, so I logged into Notebook LM, which is an AI tool by Google. Okay, I'm not logged in. Okay, hold on. Let's log into my account. Perfect. And then I've uploaded two sources. They are our text versions of our site, which are Creative Commons, the text version of 1645 and 1745, right? From there, what I did was I created these flashcards based on the content of those documents. So you'll see here the different flashcards on the right that have popped up about women who helped start Montreal. And, the student can flip them and find the answer. So I like these, but one of the problems I ran into is that I couldn't export these necessarily in the format that I wanted to in order to be able to post it on our societies and territories website. So you see here, it'll show me the prompt, but I can't really export it unless the only way I can share that is by sharing my Notebook LM with people in my organization. So what I did is I installed an application in Google that allowed me to download the content of these flashcards from Notebook LM as a CSV file. And basically, then I could use the CSV file I realized in Canva code by uploading the questions and answers to create something that might be more engaging and most importantly in my context that I could be able to share with you today publicly. So what I did is I took the CSV file, the table that showed the questions and the answers that was generated based on my copyright-free document into Canva AI. I'll find my right tab here. Um, so I uploaded that content. Will I be able to go back into Canva AI? And then I've asked it to create a bilingual Jeopardy game for me. So you can see I've done quite a few prompts. I'm on prompt version 32, so there's a lot of generation. So I'm hoping that I get a good end product so that you will not have to do those generations and also to create the best prompt template for you so that you will just be able to customize your content using um, the template prompt in order to generate one of these games more efficiently to conserve energy from the land and yet benefit from this tool. So I will show you an example of what I've created so far. Again, there is one small error in the code that I'm trying to figure out, but it's proof of concept of how you could create this. So if I preview my activity, you'll see that I can first pick how many how many students or number of teams playing. I can toggle from French to English in the corner here on the right. Maybe I'm going to play as two teams. And then it's a little Jeopardy game again. The idea is that it would be very quick, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max to go through these questions with your class at the end to review what they have learned. So maybe I'm going to select a population for 200. You'll see that there is a hint here if students need help answering the question, and then I can select the answer. Um, from there, I can assign points to either team one or two or no points at all. So maybe it's team one's turn and they didn't get it correct even with the hint. So then team two got a chance to steal the points. Maybe they didn't get the question right as well, so I can press no points. You'll see you can go through as a class answering the questions, and it will kind of guide you through until all of the questions are completed. A teacher can also add and remove points manually by using these buttons on the main page. Again, at any point, I can switch from English or French along the way. Once all of the questions are complete, which might take me a few minutes to do all the clicking through, you'll see that it will come up with the team that wins, and it will do a little bit of confetti because if anyone knows Canva, they love their confetti animation. So the team of champions, right? And then they can play again. So again, to go along with that, I'm in the process of posting this now. I just have one little coding error that sometimes keeps to show up. So I'm going to revise that and be posting it by the end of the week. As well with that, I have saved all of my chat prompts and used all my 31 generations in the chat to create a AI prompt template. Sorry, I'm using my words. I've been busy day today and the end of March. So I will post this alongside of the tasks for your students. So if ever you want to create one for yourself, you could copy this text. You could adjust it, say to, Quebec Society 1980. If you're in cycle 3 in grade 6, you could adjust the questions here manually. You could also plug this template into Copilot or Gemini if you're using those tools and they're approved by your school board to edit the prompt based on the progression of learning and have it be for a different society and time period. And then you could just plop that into Canva AI, and it should give you a relatively good first generation from the onset that you can use. Again, always take the time to vet anything that is being created with AI to ensure it's historically accurate and valid. Also, whenever you're using Canva code and Canva AI, it can make some small errors in code. So you can always prompt it to regenerate or try again or look for errors in your code because this isn't actually functioning. So make sure you take the time to really go through all of the branches to ensure that you are getting a final product that will best serve your students and yourself. So that's it for today. I will pass the speaking power off to my colleague Paul Rombo so that he can share his amazing resource as well for the secondary level. Paul.
And guess what? This is a classic because I just did this and during the coffee break, and I forgot to click record. So now I'm doing it not live, and I'm going to go through the same thing again. So yes, I was really excited, and I still am really excited to share this use of NotebookLM quizzes, and the way I used them with a Chrome extension that was able to get them out of the NotebookLM environment. Um, so am I recording? I'm going to double check. Looks like it. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, so basically what I did was I created a web page on sedentarization. Who it's for? It's for cycle 2 history students. Um, sorry, cycle 1 history students. Cycle 1 secondary. And teachers could also use this too because a web page is actually a way of presenting material. And the page itself on Nomad to Villager, basically this section of a page because it's going to continue when it's still under construction. It includes a video overview, text, and this online quiz that I posted there. So why do we do a web page? Uh, and why in this way? Well, it allows students to critically mobilize these digital technologies. They see them on a web page. They have a chance to compare things. There's a couple of images you'll see that they can compare, and infographics they can examine, videos. And in this case, it's all to do with a process where they're determining causal connections, what led to what during the sedentarization period. You can see in the infographic. Um, the quiz is great because it allows students to easily check their knowledge and understanding. And so it's a self-evaluation tool. Of course, teachers can use quizzes in any way they like. They can adjust the prompts to adjust for summative evaluation as well. Of course, it is available on Learn on the educator's site. It has in a search or in the geography page there. But I wanted to jump directly to where the resource is, and the resource is actually on the secondary history site. It's the first of its kind, the first page we put up, or I put up for the secondary cycle one course. And this site mostly, you can see that it's to do with secondary cycle two, a history of Quebec and Canada. And we are starting pages for HCE and using this space for online resources. So again, as I said, the page itself is a collection of texts. Some of these texts were developed from different sources. Some of the texts were used, AI was used to generate them, and then I edited them, and so on. So basically, I've gathered together several paragraphs: life during the Paleolithic, daily changes during nomadic life, a chance to compare some AI generated images to discuss which is for this particular area, climate change in fertile lands, and humans begin to farm. These are sections, focus points in the progression of learning. I created the text. Now, once you've got text created, you can create a PDF of this page, or you can paste the text into a Google Doc and download as a PDF. You can upload into NotebookLM. So I'm just going to show you that quickly. Here's my notebook LM, cycle one. So basically, I've uploaded quite a few things beforehand, but at first it was just the PDF of the site, and I asked it to create a quiz based on that particular content. Or in Notebook LM, you can unclick everything and say just do something on probably this one here was the one, and the quiz will run on that. Now you can, of course, when you click quiz, you'll have a chance to add a custom prompt. So in this case, I asked, based on the four paragraphs, I'd like four questions per section. So it's very targeted on those little texts, and make sure the quiz is at a grade six reading level, which is a little lower than cycle one secondary, just to be sure that it's readable, and give it a title. I believe the title didn't work correctly, and I had to do that in the code, but you'll see that I get the code, and it's easy to do where you can just poke into the code before you use it. In my case, because there are other ways you can share the quiz. You can, of course, share the quiz through NotebookLM if you're within your board, but I don't think you can share publicly any other way. But if you install an extension into Chrome or Edge, there's an extension called NotebookLM Quiz Exporter. And when you install that and when you open the quiz, what it will do is it'll allow you to export the quiz in a number of different formats. Oh, you can even select questions. I didn't notice that. Basically, you can do a Word document, which is useful for creating tests and that sort of thing, PDF straight printouts, CSV, which could be imported into other tools. Like, for example, there are importers for Google Forms, which I'm experimenting with. You can use Anki and Quizlet cards, Kahoot, so card platforms or card apps that you know. What I did though, because I have a website, I downloaded a interactive website file. So I used the text editor to open that file, and I copied the entire code. That's important because if you open it, it'll just open in an HTML page, but I didn't like it'll look like that. but that's not what I want. I wanted the code. So I copied the code and I was able to paste the code into a website environment. And so this is what it looks like for me. Uh, Students picture the society and do some review with an infographic, and then they run the quiz. And what's great about the interactive quizzes, in my opinion, and what makes them better is when you select something. Here, I'm going to select a wrong. I'll select a wrong one. What it does is it tells you you're wrong, and it says not quite, and it gives some answers in the context of your of your wrong answer, and it tells you which is the right answer. And when you go on and you get the right one, obviously it'll tell you whether you're right, and it'll keep track of them. And so at the end of these 16 questions, you'll have a tally to see how you're doing, and you'll have understood why you did well or didn't do well. So it's a great self-evaluation tool. And that is my share for this week on how I use NotebookLM quizzes, a bunch of content, and put it into the quiz. And I think I spelled the word quizzes wrong. I have no idea. I'm going to check that later. So there you go. Thank you very much. And hopefully this recorded this time. Have a great day and see you next time on the Social Sciences Coffee Breaks at Learn.